Okay, I'm going to show you a way to do a rainbow trout. This is a nice way to be able to do a fish so that you can stick it on the grill. See how beautiful that is? You end up with a nice, beautiful steak, essentially, big steak. That's a pretty good sized rainbow, and there's really no bones in it. You might have a couple of little pin bones around here, but you end up with just a really clean piece of meat. So let me show you how to do that. So first of all, I take a rough scrubber like this. Something's going to catch the scales, and underneath the water, I sit and I scale this thing. You see they come off pretty easy. They can kind of clog up your drain, so you know I always do it over a disposal. Let's just keep going on this. This fish was caught yesterday in a lake about 2 hours south of here called Otter Creek. In Utah, we call it Crick, so it's not Otter Creek. You see those scales are coming off pretty good. And you don't absolutely have to do this, but I don't like my fish frying in scaly, oily oil. So where I do this one after another, and I do fry them skin side down, you could get scales in the water, and I personally think that's gross. So I don't think this takes too much time. We don't eat fish all that often. We catch a lot, but we don't fry them like this constantly, so I take the time. So there, he really doesn't have any scales on him. There's a few scales right here, and I'm leaving. I'll just take those off of the tail. Now, there's my fish. Now I'm going to show you this trick. First of all, let me just slice this down just a little teeny bit. So you're basically in a situation here where I've got the ribs in here. A little bit of junk in there. You can pull that off, but it's going to come off anyway. Now watch this. I'm going to turn this on hot. And I do this on as hot of water as I can get here. You don't need to use boiling water or anything like that. But you do this a few times and nail these bones. See how they're popping? I can stick my finger underneath there and look at that. All those bones just come right out. That's because I ran it under the hot water. Now this is actually working out pretty good. Some fish don't work as well. Rainbows work really well this way. Some fish like, you pretty much only can do it with trout. But some fish like a brown, they don't do it as well. So now, oh I'm sorry, kind of went a little fast. Now I've done this side, I've done this side. I'm going to pinch the middle like this. And I'm just going to kind of run it through my fingers like this and separate it. I want to keep as much meat, so I pinch my way down. And then I'm going to give it a little pull. There, look at that. Now I'm left with just meat. I can turn that back on cold. There's a bone here or there that I'm going to get. I'm going to wash that off. So there I've got this. I'm going to flour, or I'm going to cook this down, or excuse me, skin side down, and in a hot skillet with oil, plenty of oil. Bacon grease is preferred. And on this side, I'm going to have floured it with some salt and pepper and flour. That's it. I don't really get too fancy with it. I'm going to let them dry a little bit, so I might even pat them dry, but I'm going to get them dry on paper towels. Then I'm going to flour that. There's a little pin bone. It's not that you're going to not have any bones whatsoever, but that's pretty much. Let me take this bigger one. That's pretty thick. If you look at that, that's a pretty thick piece of meat. There's a lot of weight here on this, and when I fry this up, it's going to be extremely easy to eat that. So once again, this is really something you only do with trout, and none of the trout do it better than rainbows. Brooks, you can do it. Browns, you can do it. Tigers, you can do it. But the rainbows, the bones separate the easiest. That's it. Thanks.